Hello, everyone. I just wanted to follow back up on my previous video to those individuals who are saying that the concussive runes do not actually trigger. So there's an interesting line here if you read, the shockwave costs runic ward and will not trigger if you do not have enough runic ward. So this shockwave actually still costs runic ward in order to trigger. So that's why it's very important to have remnants of Kalgur or some method of being able to keep your runic ward topped off, because those chains will occur and start to drain your ward very quickly as these chains start to pop off. So again, the premise that we have here is we have repulsion on the curse. The repulsion wave does physical damage and is a hit. This wave is then bleeding. So that procs Herald of Blood. Okay. Herald of Blood then also has a physical hit component to it. And this physical hit component can also trigger heavy stunning an enemy. So this physical damage here that cannot be invaded, we have linked with more stun buildup and aggravating bleeding on heavy stunning an enemy just to guarantee, even though this has 50% chance, you could probably go with even more stun buildup on this one if you wanted to. But essentially, that will allow this attack to heavy stun, which will then trigger another concussive rune. This concussive rune cannot cause stun buildup itself, which is fine. So it can't like re-trigger the loop in and itself. However, this attack will explode and again trigger repulsion. So both the Herald of Blood attack, the buff damage, the damage that you get from this, and the concussive rune attack, when both of these trigger, it will then again trigger the repulsion, because repulsion is based on an enemy getting hit. Hitting these enemies cause the curse to trigger. So basically you hit them twice and then it re-triggers repulsion, and it is an infinite loop. But you have to make sure that you have enough ward to be able, and enough bleed and stun build up to be able to trigger the loop. Right now, I'm using a mace, so it's probably best to see this effect really with like a spear and using, really just like rake and just letting that bleed kind of build up so you can really get massive bleed explosions and you can kind of just let that chain go. But I'll show an example here. And it is, now let's see if I'm in a different area. I believe the health of the enemies was too low in that previous area, so it's just exploding enemies. We do need to build up some bleed in order for the effect to work. So hopefully we can do that here. And I can show off some chains. So let's see here. And you'll notice the runic ward drop whenever I do actually spin that and get those chains going. So this would be good here. We'll build up some bleed on them, let them bleed out. Okay, so now so you can see that right there at the end. You see that right there. That was the concussive runes on the ground with the bleed explosions chaining them.